popping in the Periscope to scope for tonight. My name is Anita, and you know me as I have been talking about the infamous Stroll 1. How are you tonight? Just popping into Periscope. As you know, over the last couple of nights, I have been talking about, hi Vanessa, I have been talking about living unashamed of your secret story. Many of us have secret stories that keep us bound or hold us back. And that is not the greatness that we've been destined for. That is not what we are to step in as blessed children of God. We are to live unashamed of our secret story. Those stories that we have are, those stories that we have are somebody else's blessing. Because while you were going through what you now hold close to the heart as your secret story, behind you, somebody else has gone through it, and they need to know that they are not the only one. They need to know that they can step out from behind the shame and live the blessed life that they're called to live. Living unashamed of your secret story is not allowing the barriers or the blocks of your failures or your pain to keep you from stepping into your greatness. Many of you have been reading my blog. I've been reading your comments. Thank you for your tweets. Thank you for your feedback as to me surviving what I have called the miracle of survival, and where my father 3 times between my ages of 0 and probably 16 tried to set the house on fire 3 times with his family asleep in the house. And then there were many nights when I woke up with one of my brothers just pounding his fist into my flesh. Now, many people, especially scholars, like to giggle or just downplay what is titled sibling abuse as sibling rivalry, but it is not the same thing. Sibling rivalry, a spat or an argument between 2 people who share a common parent that are of the same size. However, when a sibling is 9 years older than you, 2 feet taller than you, probably 150 pounds heavier than you, it is not sibling rivalry. Like I said, thank you for your feedback and your comments and your tweets regarding my blog post and my story. I really appreciate it. If you have not been to my blog, please visit thatanitalive.com/blog or thatanitalive.com and read the blog posts, the personal stories. Let me know any feedback that you have or any thoughts that you have. Tonight, though, particularly, I want to go into living unashamed of your secret story and accepting failure for what it is. A lot of the times in our lives, failure is the secret story that we like to hold close to the heart. But failure, believe it or not, is a part of what has made you the beautiful person that you are today. Had it not been for that lesson learned, you would not know or have the wisdom that you do now. So failure isn't a description of you. Failure isn't what happened to you. Failure isn't who you become. Failure is just an experience that you had. Failure is just a lesson that you learned. Right. Failure breeds opportunity. Thanks, Vanessa. Failure breeds opportunity so that going forward, once you learn that lesson, you don't make that mistake again, and it moves you further in your story. It moves you higher in the levels of getting closer to God, and it moves you higher in wisdom and spiritual maturity. The more the more you learn, the more you know, and when we know better, we do better. So do not accept failure as a description of yourself. Do not accept failure as your end all be all to your story. Everybody has made a mistake. Everybody has failed. It's just the successful people that you see, the people that you admire, the people that you sit back and you say, oh, I wish that was me. Those people simply just did not allow their failures to be the end of their story. They did not allow their failures to stop them from moving forward. They did not allow their failures to become the story of what happened to them, the one story that they continuously tell. I have one young lady that I know, and upon first meeting her, everybody gets the same story, that her husband left her for another woman. Now, it's kind of become comical from my perspective because I sit back and I wait to see how long it is before they find out the rest of the story. Because the rest of the story is that actually happened about 8 years ago. But she is stuck there, that is her identity and that is her story. And unfortunately, it has kept her from moving forward and having some beautiful opportunities in her life, from having some wonderful experiences, because she has chosen to remain stuck behind the story that she isn't wanted, stuck behind the story that she isn't good enough, stuck behind the story that woman must be better than her because this one particular human being left her for another woman. And a lot of men will say, the story goes, it isn't anything that you do. It isn't anything about you as to why a man cheats or why a man leaves. We are all responsible for our own behavior. And it is not up to you to take on that identity. So whatever the failure is or whatever happened to you, get up, dust yourself off, record it as a lesson learned, and figure out what your next opportunity is going to be. Don't live behind your secret story. Step out from the shame. Step into your greatness.